All right. So, what were the two main books that I've read recently that started my whole entrepreneurship renaissance? I would say number one has to be the main the main book that every entrepreneur has read. Without doubt, everyone has read it, and that is Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. That's like the pinnacle. That's number one. All right. And what was it that I liked about that book so much? Let's just start about me. I personally, I'm not an avid reader. Well, let me rephrase that. I wasn't an avid reader. One of the main reasons was because I'm quite a slow reader, and number two is really being able to regurgitate what I've just read. I could read a whole book and a week later just remember the title. How poor is that? You know? So I think that number one, I didn't really find anything or a genre that really engaged me enough to continue to read. I was more of a hands-on person. You tell me something and I'm great. I'll learn quick. But to sit there and be analytical and being able to concentrate for long enough to be able to read and actually take it in was something that I wasn't blessed with at that stage. But when I found Think and Grow Rich, it was so up my street and it hit me at the right time. You never know, if I'd have read it 10 years before, I think I still would have liked and pursued that journey. But you never know. Or 10 years before that, you just never know. I would have been 8, so it's very unlikely, but you never know. But when it hit me, I would say November last year, that's when my journey began. Hit me like a steam train. Loved it. Really loved the book. I love the fact that when you read it, you realize it's possible. Whatever your dream is, wherever you want to be, is possible. So I was an athlete at one point in my life, and I think as you grow older, your body starts to shut down, and you start to think, wow, so that's my dreams are not going to be great. I'm not going to be able to meet that millionaire success, you know, because that's what we deem as success. And then reading Think and Grow Rich, with all those aspirations and dreams that you have in your mind, reading that, it really does help facilitate your dreams. It really, really does, because it doesn't just necessarily talk about, you know, yeah, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. It gives you solid information for how and why it works. Napoleon Hill was this young guy at the time, didn't have much money, was sent to interview one of the richest men in the world at the time, and when he was there, the interviewer, sorry, the person that he went to interview actually said, you know, how would you like to study the richest and most successful people in the world and learn how their minds work and how they get to where they get to? And he said yes. And when you read this and the way in which he went about his journey, and when you read the names who he'd studied, Rockefellers, presidents, Ford, all the most successful people that we even know today, and they all have the same attributes, and it's just belief. It's belief, drive. Some were different, but they all fundamentally had belief in themselves. And we can read many positive affirmation books, and we can read loads of different books that help, and they all have their part. But Think and Grow Rich, the way it's done is just, it's so great. And I think it was over 30 years, I think, or 15 years. It was done for over a long time. Little do people know, he had another book as well called Lessons of Success in 16 Lessons, or something like that. And that was his one before Think and Grow Rich. I'd really recommend you read that. If you don't read it, it's so long. Get Audible. Listen to it on Audible. I think it's 26 hours. Just listen to it. Or furthermore, get Nightingale's 30-minute breakdown, summary of the whole of Think and Grow Rich. That's really, really good. I would really recommend you do that. Get it on Audible so you can listen to it again and again and again and again and again, or SoundCloud or YouTube, wherever you get it from. Listen to that again and again and again and again and again. I think Bob Proctor says he reads it every day, or a skit of it every single day. He's got the same book since 1960. And I think that's such a great starting point, starting place if you're going to start reading. That's number one. Number two, everyone knows his name, Robert Kiyosaki. Kiyosaki, I think it is. That's number two. But obviously, Rich Dad Poor Dad, great book. Loved it. Really, really good book. Love how he breaks everything down. Once again, makes it human, makes you able to relate. Rich Dad Poor Dad. So his rich dad was his friend's dad, and his poor dad was his own dad, who was an academic. So he's not necessarily, at first I thought, right, that's a bit deep. You know, you're actually disrespecting your own father. But when you actually understand what he's saying, you get what he means by his rich dad and his poor dad. Financially rich, financially poor. Okay, but it's not that book. That's not my second most important book. It's his other book that he done. He's done loads, but his second one, which was Cashflow Quadrant. I love that book. Breaks down the 4 quarters. So on the left hand side there is employed and self-employed. On the right hand side is business owner and investor. That for me was the book. That's my second book that I really, really loved, simply because it puts me in a place of understanding. So I am now trying to get into the business side of things, thinking a bit larger with leverage. That's how we get bigger, with leverage, using other people around us to work with us to do that. One thing, I will cover this at a later date, but not trying to get too off topic. When we do that, we must do that with value. We must do that with value. And the reason for why I say that is there's so many people out there that would say, all right, cool, I'm going to do leverage. I'm going to get someone to do it at the cheapest price, and I'm going to really try and undersell them. Just give them as least as I can give them. I've kind of done it the other way around. Everyone I work with, I give them so much more. And I've seen a massive confidence with me, because I'm paying them more, and at the same time they're happy. And so whenever I call on them, they want it. Yeah, cool, because I'm paying more than the next man, and they're giving me a better job. But we'll cover that at another time. But yes, but before I got to that stage, I was self-employed, and one of the things that it said that out of 4 quadrants, which I took, was that being self-employed is one of the hardest quadrants to be in, simply because you work extremely hard, and then you start to be trapped in a place where no one can do it like you. No one. So you have to do your own accounting, you have to do your own work. If you don't work, you don't get paid, and you're constantly on this rabbit wheel, just hamster wheel, just going round and round and round and round and round, and you never have a day off, and just, you know, you can't trust no one. That's a hard place to be. At least being employed, yeah, you might earn a little bit less, but you get sick pay, and leave it to certain governments, that won't be for long, but sick pay and all the other aspects, what you'll get as a comfort level being employed. So it's all about, for me, coming out of that self-employed, keep remembering, do I really want to do that? Because it really shines a light on you, on where you are. I need to get into that business stage. So we as people, we need to get into that business stage. Whether or not you start with Amazon as like a little side hustle, start doing stuff on Amazon, start doing stuff on eBay, or starting whatever as a little side hustle, just starting to understand business, starting to own a business. So me, for example, I actually run a small company in gas and electrics. So I'm a fully qualified gas engineer and electrician. And I was doing it all myself, but then through realizing about education and how important education is to be able to alleviate these stresses, I was first of all a gas engineer, and then I went into electrics, so that I can maybe get my own gas engineers doing their jobs, and then at the side hustle I can then come and do the electrical wiring but then I've got, say, 4 boilers being installed in different locations. I'm not trapped in doing those installs. Other people are doing those installs, all getting paid really well for what they do, but then I can then go to each one. If anybody needs any help or any materials, I'm able to do that, give them the materials, give them help, break down the jobs because I've surveyed them already, and then also then wire up each individual job, and then I'm getting a cut of everyone. Everyone's happy. That's my first stage of really trying to run a business, because eventually, you know what it is. Then you get your electrician in there, then you're in the office, and then you get someone else in the office to then do it. So it's all about trying to get businesses, and then just not just one income stream. It's about 2 income streams. I don't know if you've watched my my breakdown on Samuel Leeds, where I spoke about how I've just spent a lot of money trying to do a property course. I've done properties before, but now I'm trying to really change up my ethos on passive income and really making that a stream where I'm really going to start relying on and really getting into property in a big way. So I have that as a business, obviously my maintenance business. There are other avenues that we're trying to go down as well, because it's all about us feeding ourselves. It's all about us feeding our children. Never forgetting the fact though that really and truthfully, it's not about working hard, it's about working smart. We need to start working smart. As I've been saying to my boys, so my boys 16 and 14, really and truthfully, some of us have to work. We have to hold down an employment job in the beginning to learn. There's nothing wrong with grafting, working hard, but then there does come a time where we have to start to learn to work smart. Let's start by being employed and then having a side hustle. Learn your side hustle until your side hustle starts to make enough revenue for you to be able to come out of the employment stage, and then you're your own boss. You might mess up, you might F up along the way, but you started to dabble in that. You understand? So for me, those 2 books, Think and Grow Rich, that was my first introduction of actually realizing it's possible. If you want to know it's possible and you want to reprogram your mind on entrepreneurship, you want to reprogram your mind on entrepreneurship and know it's possible and learn from some of the teachings of some of the most influential, most successful entrepreneurs in the world, then Think and Grow Rich is definitely a way to make that even more enhanced. As I said, Earl Nightingale, look at his breakdown of Think and Grow Rich, and listen to that again and again and again. Number 2, Rich Dad Poor Dad, great, but for me number 2 was Cashflow Quadrant, because for me that broke down where I am personally as a self-employed engineer. It broke down that I'm actually in. I always knew I was in the hardest quadrant, but really and truthfully, we all want to be an investor. But to be an investor, the best way to get there is basically to start being a business owner. And you can do that with hardly no money at all. You see all the adverts on YouTube. Amazon, learn how to trade on Amazon. So all you're dealing with is necessarily the market. So you know there's a big need for pillows, and they like that type of pillow. You haven't necessarily even got to buy that, physically have that pillow in your warehouse. All right, cool, you want that, I'm going to buy that from China and then just sell that to you. But China, don't bring it to me, ship it direct to this guy over there. And so you're never actually dealing with the merchandise, you're just dealing with the money. There's ways around it, but you have to add value to people. Never shut up no one. Add value, yeah? So those are my 2 books. I hope you like my breakdown. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube. This is a new journey I'm on. As I said before, and I say every single time, I'm no expert. I am new to this. And the reason for why I'm doing this is hold myself accountable. And also we can walk this journey together. And you know there's someone like you right now walking the same path. I'm no expert. I'm learning along the way, and I'm going to show you all my pitfalls along the way. Hopefully there won't be many, but even when there is, we learn from that. So we can learn from our little mistakes so we don't create massive mistakes. And one thing, people, learn. You know, learn and also unlearn. Unlearn these negative vibrations. Unlearn these things that we've learned from young. We believe is beneficial. Remember, the matrix is to be a slave to the system. That's the matrix. To be a slave to the system, but make you feel you're not. because you're earning 30 grand, 40 grand, 60 grand a year. You've got your car on HP. You're working and living, and one day when you're 65, you can retire and your house might be paid off. I don't want to wait till I'm 65. I want that now. Maybe not now. I'm willing to wait a little piece, but along the journey, I want to make every day a beautiful day. I want to be the best father I can be. I want to be the best partner I can be. Get your mind up. Unlearn and learn. Read, read, read. Audible. Get your Audible. Hopefully there's a link down below for Audible. Get your learning game up for you. Learn how you want to learn. All right? And have a great day. Thank you.